where are you and how's your quarantine going?
Well, I'm at my house in a little town next to Champaign, Illinois,
Mhm.
and we're just like spending time together as a family, and it's been pretty good since we're
Mhm.
always on the go mostly. It's
Yeah,
been
is
good.
yeah, I was doing a little research on you and obviously last year you were the 2019 Gatorade Player of the Year for Illinois. I mean, you put up some crazy numbers. I'm just going to brag about you. You batted 644. You had 22 home runs and 47 RBIs. And then this season, you were on pace to break the actual national record for home runs when everything was pretty much grinded to a halt. Um, can you talk about the the moment you realized you weren't going to be able to complete your senior season of high school, and kind of what was your initial reaction?
Well, so throughout like when it kept getting worse and worse a little bit, our school has always just been like we're gonna have school, no matter what. Like that's just how we are, like small town, like nothing really affects us. And even on the snow days, like every day we'd be like, oh my gosh, you think we're gonna get out of school tomorrow? Like, are we gonna have a snow day? And all the teachers are like, no, we're gonna have school. Like, I don't know why you guys still ask that. And so finally, it was Friday, right before spring break, and there was just all these rumors going around. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm just gonna go ask our AD. And so I walked into his office and I was like, Mr. Branson, what's up? And he was like, hey, Bailey. I was like, so I got a question for you. I was like, be straight up. Like, I've heard all the talk about, Corona. Like, are we going to come back to school? Are sports, like, are we going to be done? And he was like, well, like, schools are already shutting down. And I was like, okay, well, Chicago could be down, but we're not. Like, that doesn't really affect us. And so he got talking about it, and then he was like, I'm sure you don't want to hear this, but we're really proud of you. Like, you had a really good 4 years here. And that just like shook me. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it. It's over. Like, whatever. And so we had practice that night, and coach pulled the four seniors aside and was just like, hey, if anything happens, like we're still going to be here. We could, do this. And we're just talking about like what could happen. And then the very next day, we got a call from coach, and he was like, yeah, we're, we're done. Like, we can't do anything, without school. We're not going to be in school. We can't have sports, like, whatever. And I don't know. It's just kind of like heartbreaking. Like my heart just like broke right there because it's not necessarily about like the records, but like I just wanted to play with this team because we were supposed to be good, like from all the practices and everything. And I was just excited because of the freshmen and everything, and it really was like a good environment to be in. And I don't know. It was just sad to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you were talking about it, I was just feeling like I was there with you because just like it's heartbreaking. I don't know if there's another word for it. Because it's something that you put so much time and energy into, and it's like gone just like that.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
um Kind of after you had that conversation internally, like how did you help yourself sort through all like the emotions and the logistics of kind of like what do you do next, because that's what we do as athletes, right? You're like, okay, all right, what's the next step?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not someone who takes bad news well. Like I can take it, I can handle it, like whatever. Um, but I don't want to like think about it. So I'm the only child. I don't have siblings here. Like I have two stepsisters, but they don't live with us. They're older. And so it's just me and my parents and my dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so like whenever, something bad happens, I'm not someone to talk about my feelings. I've always held it in. And so whenever we got that news, my dad was downstairs, and so I walked downstairs and I was like, it's over. Like we're not gonna have a season this year. He's like, oh, don't say that. I said, no, I just got a call from coach. Like, it's over. Like, we're out of school. We're not going to have a season. He just, like, didn't say anything. And, like, kind of just talking about it, like, makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
But, like, I just couldn't, I didn't want to, like, sit here and, like, lay in bed at night and think about it. So my first reaction was, you know what? We're going to have spring break. I was like, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go to Florida with my friends. Like, screw Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the beginning, my mom was like all in for it because I have a lot of family down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'll just stay with them, like, like whatever. And then it gradually kept getting worse and like places were getting shut down and whatever. And then my mom was like, listen, do you like care about softball? And I was like, whoa, like, yeah, I do. And we just had this like big heart to heart, like, I don't want to like sit here during the day and like just be sad. Like I have to be out, I have to be doing something. And so like having something like a vacation, just what made me happy at the time. And so like yeah, I did want to go do it cuz I didn't want to be stuck here thinking about like how my senior year is over. Like I don't know. That's just how I've always been.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Well, you were trying to balance out the emotion, right? Because you were like in a really sad and heartbroken place, and it's pretty natural to be like, you know what? I need to get my mind off of this, and being in a sunny place where it feels like there are no worries or cares in the world, like
Yeah.
sounds great. That sounds ideal.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
understand why you wouldn't want to like jump right back into softball, because it's like this is the thing that's gone. Now I'm reminded
Yeah.
of the thing I don't have anymore. And
Yeah.
that just like it would make me sad too. And I'm sure you aren't alone in feeling that way immediately, but I'm sure over time things got better. Your emotions kind of began to settle
Yeah.
down. And
Yeah.
and even just the thought of like you're going to be joining Alabama soon. And I know I could see the look on your face. Like it makes, can you talk a little bit about the excitement you have to be joining, um, a national contending team, and I'm sure, like, I'll let you run with that. How excited are you to join that team?
I'm so excited. Like just talking about Bama makes me like smile, obviously. Um I think what really helped was over the summer, like I played on USA junior team with Sky and Montana and Lexi. And we really just built like a connection like immediately and everything. And not just like softball, but like outside of it, me and Sky hung out, we'd hang out with Jazz and like whoever
Mm-hmm.
else. Like it was just always fun. And so when summer was over, I ended up going on. Well, I went on my official, and then I went on another visit at the Bama Bash because it's always their like opening tournament or whatever there.
Mm-hmm.
And just like whenever I was there, like you can just tell like everybody around us, like it was just always happy and like um, I feel like if I really didn't have that connection with like Sky and Tana and Lexi, that like it just really wouldn't be the same. Cause like going there, it's like, oh, like, well, first of all, the team is the best, but like
Right.
Sky and Tana, like Lexi, like they're the real deal. So
Mm-hmm.
like just it's like a sister bond, like I can't describe it, but like it just really helps. And like I'm just so excited for it.
Yeah, I bet. You mentioned playing on the junior national team. What was that experience like for you, and how do you feel like it helped either shape who you are now, or what did you take away from that experience?
Um, Probably just like you just always have to work hard. I mean, like that's the easiest thing to say. Like you can say that all the time and whatever, but like until you really feel it and see it like for yourself, you don't really understand it. Like I've always been like, a really like one of the I'd like to say hardest working, softball player like or anything. But like when that USA team, like that's the best of the best. Like that's like the dream team for softball, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just always somebody like there for your spot, and like it just pushes you and drives you every minute. So I mean, that's how I would. That's what I took away from it most.
Mm-hmm. When you when you joined the team and you were at the first practice, can you describe what it was like and what was going through your mind and how you were feeling?
I was so scared. First off, it started bad. It started off bad because I was leaving for my flight out of Champaign, and that's like a really small airport. So, um, there was a flight from Champaign to somewhere in Texas. I think like Dallas or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then it was going to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a connecting flight. So I was getting ready for my flight, and my tickets weren't working. Like the lady didn't have something was wrong. Like I couldn't even check in. And so then she was like, "Oh, your flight is delayed." And I was like, "My flight is delayed. Ma'am, I have to be here for practice tonight. Like I cannot have a delayed flight."
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to call Polly. I had to text the coaches, like whoever it was, Christy Bryn. I was like, listen, like this is all messed up. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, my flight got out. It went to gosh, like Dallas or whatever. And it ended up being one of my good guy friends. His dad was on the plane with me. And so I got there to Dallas. It landed. I get out. I'm looking at my ticket and I'm like, it doesn't have my gate number on it, like for my next flight. So I was confused. So my dad was like, hey, just go look at, those big, itinerary things on the boards or whatever. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So I'm looking. Like, that is not on there. Well, it ended up being because my flight was so delayed for like 7 hours. I had to wait 7 hours in the airport for my next flight. And so I was just lost at this point. I was like, I don't know where to go. Like, it's a whole different gate. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so, Tom, the dad of my friend, he ended up walking up and finding me. He's like, hey, do you know what you're doing? I said, no, I don't know what I'm doing. I started crying. I was like,
Oh.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know where to go. Like, it doesn't have my gate number. And so he took me up to these women at some random gate, and he was like, hey, listen, this girl is here alone and she needs help. And so they were like, okay, like they started helping. And he was like, no, you're going to help her the whole entire time. And like, he was so nice. And like at that point, I just lost it even more because I was like, he's so nice. He's helping me.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all ended up working out. I got there, landed at like 11 at night, missed the practice, missed all the meetings. Coach Walton was there with me. He landed at the same time. And so we ended up riding with it was Paulie and some other guy, I forget his name.
Mm-hmm.
And all the way back, like 45 minutes back to the hotel, it was long, but it worked out good.
And then you finally get to practice, and then what? How did it feel?
Well, Jadelyn was my roommate, Jadelyn Alchin, and she wasn't there yet. And so I was there by myself again. And so I go down the meeting. I don't know anybody. like, hey, I'm Bailey. Youngest one there. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to, like, be the talkative one. So I end up sitting with Tana. And so we're just talking to everybody, like Kelly and everybody else. And we get to practice. I'm like, do I go shortstop? Do I do a pitch? Like, what do I do? I'm so lost. But I mean, it was good. Like it was really fun. Like we had a lot of energy there, and you can just tell like it was just a great environment, and it was good.
Yeah, I'm sure the energy is like, holy crap, she's good. Did you see that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Was there somebody there that you didn't know that really surprised you in terms of one, their athletic ability, and then two, just like their personality?
Um, I'd say the two Kellys. So Kelly Godden and
Hmm.
then Kelly Lynch. Like I played with Kelly and Jules one fall tournament with the Georgia Impact because it was before the summer. So I mean, I didn't know them well, but like we talked a little bit. It's not like one of those real personal connections. And Kelly, I think, just has this such nonchalant, little like walk up to the pitcher's mound. But oh my gosh, is she so good? Obviously, because she hit 14 home runs in
Right.
like 2 games.
Hmm.
um, and then Kelly Godden, she's just so funny. Like I can't even describe it. She just has like that bubbly personality, and you would just never know it. Like looking at the field, like she looks so intense, and then you get her in the dugout, and she'll just be playing games with you. And I'm like, Kelly, oh my gosh, we got a game going on. Like we need to pay attention.
Yeah, I feel like Jazz said the same thing. She's like, "Oh my god, I love Kelly." She kept saying that over and
Yeah.
over again. That's so funny. Um, what was your favorite moment with the junior national team?
Gosh, I don't even know. Um,
Favorite moment and favorite trip?
I would say favorite moment would definitely be like the game when we won.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know why that wouldn't be your favorite moment. Just because I mean, you're world champs.
Hmm.
um, but I say the favorite trip would either be California or I mean, gosh, they're all good. Paris, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I'd say Georgia was like one of the top two. I mean, because we played Team USA, that was awesome. And then we got practice with them at the beginning.
Hmm.
That was cool.
And who did you hit off of?
Got one hit off Kalani Ricketts.
Oh,
It was a
nice.
changeup inside. Oh yeah, that was highlight of my career right there.
Amazing. Did you hit off of any of the other USA pitchers?
I like to say that I nipped Monica's ball that she pitched. um, but honestly, I couldn't tell you for sure if that's true because it just
Okay.
went right by me. um, actually, gosh, Monica. Okay, so Skylar got on base against Kalani. I think she walked or something, and then I hit
Mhm.
Skylar in. So I was like, "Oh yeah, we're rolling, guys! Like here we go." And then Monica came in later, and Jazz was right before me, and Jazz hit a foul ball like straight over first baseline. I was like, "Oh my gosh! Like let's do this! Like we're gonna hit Monica." I was like, "Let's go!" So I don't remember. I think Jazz either walked or she got out. I don't remember something.
Mm.
So I got up there. First pitch, she comes inside of my shins. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, this is it. And then she just kept throwing like rise ball, rise ball, rise ball. And it was just like zooming like up. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, like you're just back here catching, like nobody even hits a ball. I felt bad for the catcher. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. But yeah.
How funny. That's awesome. Highlight. I never hit off of Monica, so I don't have a story to share with you. But I did hit off of Kaylani, and I will say the only one that I hit fair was her changeup.
It's good. Like, I mean, her
Yeah.
changeup is good. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
if she that was the first pitch she threw to me, and
Mm-hmm.
I just like took it line drive right between like short and third.
Yeah.
And I was like, was that her fastball? Like, what was that? Because that was good, but I saw it. Like, I'm not supposed to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. That's awesome. So going into this summer, I know that plans um, have been in flux. What are kind of your plans going into the summer? Have you made like multiple plans in case like you're able to kind of get outside and start practicing with the team and whatnot?
We're just taking it day by one or day by day right now. I think. So Coach Lewis, Georgia Impact, I texted him a couple days ago because our school actually announced that we're going to be able to graduate. Like, we just pick a time out of a certain day, and we just walk across the stage and we get like 4 family members or whatever. And the day that I chose was June 5th because you only get like 4 dates that you can choose from. And so I texted Coach Lewis and I was like, hey, um, we have like a practice camp June 8th or whatever for a whole week. And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, um, I'm graduating June 5th. I didn't know if we were going to do something earlier, like if we had something planned, because we're supposed to play May 29th that weekend at the Bolts tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I couldn't tell you what's going on. Like, it's just like day by day right now. So
Yeah.
just got to be ready for whatever happens, I guess.
Yeah, and you just celebrated a senior day. What was
Yeah.
what was what can you kind of describe what happened and what you did?
Well, so the night before yesterday, my mom was like, um, so tomorrow's senior night. It's supposed to be. So immediately I was just like, dang it, like I was sad.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I ended up going to Indy in the morning and working out with my trainer there. And it was just me, just drove down there, worked out for a couple hours, came back home. My mom got off work, she came home, and I ended up just getting ready like for pictures because she used to be a photographer. And she made this big poster and she got flowers and like all the stuff for my senior day. And
Mm-hmm.
me, my mom and dad just drove up to the field and just took a couple pictures. And my best friend's mom, actually, she takes pictures too. And so she came up there and she took a couple family pictures for us. And it is good. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's not normal,
Right.
but I mean, I feel like nothing's normal anymore. So,
I
I
know.
mean, just that was mama's time right there. I was thankful that she did that for me.
Yeah, it's like the sweetest gesture, and
Yeah.
of course it's not the ending that you want, but it's also that time should be celebrated because you can't get it back, you know?
Yeah.
And it's part of your softball history. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't just like let it fade away, you know? You
Right.
spent a lot of that would be sad. That's tragic to think about
I
that.
know.
Um, I'm gonna go a little further back in time. So I saw you play when I first started working for FloSoftball, and I went to the Veterans Day tournament out in Atlanta. You were playing with the Bandits. Theo, I think you were playing with
Dorsey's team.
yes. Yep. Yeah, Dorsey's team. And you were playing shortstop. And immediately, like you jumped out at me as like one of the best players at the tournament. And I think that was like your first time playing with them or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I was subbing for their team.
oh, really? Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, because I think I asked them, I was like, who's that player? Like, who's playing short? And they're like, oh, she's a new player, Bailey Dowling. And you hit an opposite field home run. I was like, this girl's legit. She's gonna go Power 5. Like, I already knew that. Well, just like I've coached before and I've played softball at a really high level, so I know when players can do that at a young age, that's like a sign of a very special hitter. Um, but tell me kind of, I'm sure even after that tournament, there was just like more buzz. I'm sure you got just more interest. Can you talk a little bit about your recruiting experience and the places you visited, and then why ultimately did you choose Alabama?
So at the beginning of like the recruiting process is kind of stressful almost because, you know, how my name got out was my dad made a little like video clip and put it on YouTube, and it was just of me working out with um, my coach and like in a shed. It was not outside or anything. It was just strictly in a shed because it was like winter at this time, and it was just of me hitting, fielding, doing all these drills. And so we put it out on YouTube, and then either somebody told us or somebody came to us. I don't really remember whatever it was. We went to an on deck camp, and that's what really sparked it. Because I mean, you have all these college coaches there, you know, watching you do all this stuff, and from there on out, it was like everybody just has eyes on me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like everywhere I walk, somebody's looking. um, but yeah, from that point, I played with the Bandits, and so Ramsey and Uncle Mike, those were our coaches. Um, they just did. I mean, Bandits are known for like going to exposure tournaments and like obviously get players out to powerhouse schools like whatever. And so we just played at all the exposure tournaments at that point because I mean you're like 14U. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what I mean really helped. I don't really remember where they were at, but I mean whatever. And at that tournament in Atlanta, Coach Dorsey called my dad the night before and was like, "Hey, we heard about Bailey. Would she be interested in subbing for us this weekend?" And so we drove down there and I subbed for them. And then that weekend, Coach Tony Baldwin asked for me to go on a visit. And so on our way home, we stopped at the University of Georgia for a visit, and then we headed home. Um, but I mean, you just kind of have to look at it like instead of it being stressful, you just gotta like live it up because I mean,
Right.
yeah, all eyes are on you like every time, but I mean, like, that's fun. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can like show your moves and like your skills and everything. Like I think that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when you start to notice, I mean, it's hard not to notice, right? You're like, oh snap, there's Mike
Yeah.
Kendria. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But then you kind of shake it off and you're like, okay, gotta go in on this pitch. That's very
Yeah.
cool. Did you take any other visits other than Alabama and Georgia?
Yeah. So I went to Oregon whenever Coach
Okay.
Mike White was there.
Yeah.
I went to Illinois. I
Mhm.
mean, backyard.
Yeah.
Let's see. I went to Oklahoma.
Hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily. That was more of like a camp slash visit.
Okay.
Actually, it was a visit, and then a camp was involved with it.
Yeah.
And then I went to Michigan State whenever, um, gosh, what's his name? Oklahoma coach, his
JT.
son.
JT.
Yes, whenever he was there with
Mm-hmm.
his wife. Yeah. And then that's all I can think of.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Those are some good visits. Why
Yeah.
did you choose Alabama ultimately? What was there a moment?
Well, I've always loved Alabama. Couldn't tell you why, but since I was born, it's like, crimson, all crimson. They've always been at my top, whatever. And when I was in third grade, I actually wrote a letter about wanting to be there and like hear the crowd say like Bailey Dowling, like whatever. And so whenever we stepped foot on the campus, it's like it was just a whole different energy. And it was like a whole different me. And even my mom said that. She's like, Bailey, it's like you're glowing. Like you're so happy. And I was like, I can't stop smiling. Like this is so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we met Coach Murph, and immediately, like, he went in for a hug, and then he went in for a hug with my mom, and then, like, he even gave my dad, like, a half hug. I was like, you know what? This is it. Like, this is the
Mm-hmm.
place. Um, and it's just like that family environment. Like, a lot of people say that, but it's like, that's so true. And it's just, it's just amazing how, like, once you really see it and feel it, like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think even though I didn't go to Alabama, it's almost like they're even trying to get you to become an Alabama fan, even though you didn't go to the school. Sometimes I feel that way with either Bama players or even just Coach Murph. Like they're like, "Come on
Yeah.
in, come on
But
over."
it's like all family, like, hey, like, you know what? Nice to meet you. Come on over. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, totally true. Um, So we talked to when you kind of think of like and imagine the 2021 season with Alabama, kind of like what's your vision of what it looks like and feels like?
A lot of energy. A lot. Especially with the 7 seniors coming back. I mean, like I've met them all, and Sarah is just like over the top awesome. Like, hey, I'm Sarah. Like, just always happy, smiling, giggling, like whatever it is. And like, it's good to have like those people because I mean, they bring the energy, like, it's there always. You can have a
Mhm.
down day and they're there to pick you right up. And, it's good to have that. And then also like the goofy side. And I think it's really just, it's going to mix well with all of us because um, I just love like seeing the demeanor and like being with people who want to win and like get better each day. And I feel like all that is just like what we're going to have. And I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys are going to be insanely good. So how are you staying connected with your teams during this time? What have you been doing?
So we have a big group message for Georgia Impact, and Riker, our pitching coach, um, sent us kind of like we got to figure out, a couple of us had to figure out what we want to do. So at the beginning, we had everybody read a book called The Energy Bus. It's a really good book. Recommend it. Um,
Mhm.
and so each person, so it was like a list of each girl per day, and whoever's day it is, you have to send a quote of what you like from that book and why you like it. And we don't really all know each other personally. There's a couple new girls. Um, so it's really good. Like I feel like just seeing how people talk over text, like it's a whole different way, And so like hearing what people say, I think just brings us closer, even though we don't know each other.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so we did that, and then after everybody like goes through, we kind of just we picked like you got to describe yourself in one word as a player or person or whatever. And so we've just been doing that, and I think it's really been good because I mean it keeps us talking each day, and it describes more about us like personally. And then coaches give us workouts like whatever it is, and we send them to link of hitting videos or whatever. But yeah,
Mhm.
it's been good. Like we've been able to stay connected.
What was your word?
What was it? Resilient, I think. Yeah, resilient.
It's a powerful word. Why?
Um, I don't like to lose, and I like to be the best at whatever it is. If that's like making my bed, I'll make my bed like the best it is. Like I am competitive, and I think just softball is like you're gonna fail more than you're gonna win,
Mhm.
and I think it's just good to always have that competitiveness. Like you're not gonna give up just because you fail, because you need to take that failure and use it as like motivation and learn from it.
Right on. Do you have oh, well, we already touched on the books. But what music are you listening to right now?
A lot. I am like a music geek. I love
Okay.
like the old school rock, like the hip hop, country, like everything literally. I have
Oh,
over like
wow.
3,000 songs on my phone. Like it's insane.
Wow. What's on heavy rotation right now?
mm, Mostly country right now because it's getting to be like more summer vibe, and like
Okay.
country just gets everybody happy.
Yeah, which artists?
mm, Blake Shelton right now.
Mhm.
But like one of my favorite country songs is called By and By. Gosh, I forget his name. Who it is. Ross Ellis.
Okay.
Good one. I don't know why, because it's kind of like a slower one, but it's good. Or Chris
Yeah.
Stapleton
Yeah,
are my
great
go-to people.
voice. Wow. Killer vocals. Do you have
Oh yeah.
any other interests outside of softball?
Mm, we have a ping pong table. I love to play ping pong. I mean, that's not like something I do all the time, but I mean, in
Uh-huh.
quarantine, you got to do something.
Yeah,
That,
seriously.
or I mean, it's not really like a hobby or anything. I like drawing.
Mhm.
Because my dad builds houses, like he's a construction worker, and so I kind of got like that architect side to me.
Very
Um,
cool.
but I mean, yeah, like, I'm up for anything.
um, for people who may not know you but like want to follow you and your career, where should they go on social?
Instagram, probably.
Okay.
Instagram.
What's your handle?
Gosh, I don't even know. I think it's like Bailey Dowling underscore.
Let's look it up. Yep, that is it. You nailed it. Bailey Dowling underscore. Well, cool. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed talking with you. And,
Yeah.
this was cool. I had a good time.
Yeah.
I hope you did too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's
Hmm.
fun talking to new people.
Totally. And I hope we all get out of quarantine soon and you
Oh yeah.
get to enjoy kind of your last summer before joining Alabama.
Yeah.
All right, Bailey. Well, you take care.